Miller's Tire and Auto Care. Need to hire experienced technicians, oil change, tire technician, tow truck drivers, exceptional benefits and pay. Drop your resume off at Miller's Tire on the Big Hill Avenue location. 4 high schools, 7 middle schools, 1 college, and a university, and much more. Now introducing your most comprehensive weekly local sports show in Madison County, the Richmond Register Sports Show. The Richmond Register Sports Show is brought to you by MetroNet, superfast internet, simply a better connection. Total Comfort, heating and air conditioning. Let Total Comfort keep you cool or warm this winter. Call for service or for a free replacement quote. Wynn's Auto Detailing Service. Platinum Roofing, Solar and Green Solutions. Voted Richmond's best roofer 7 years in a row. And by kymedia.net, digital media solutions on your terms. Here's your host for all things local sports, the Richmond Register sports editor, Nathan Hutchison.
Welcome to this week's edition of the Richmond Register Sports Show. My name is Nathan Hutchinson. I'm the sports editor of the Richmond Register, and thank you very much for tuning in this week. Coming up in just a few minutes, we'll be joined by Model Lab baseball coach Sam Sutton and his father, Scotty Sutton, who is the athletic director at Model. I think our first ever father-son combo of guests, but Sam's in his first year as the head coach over at Model, just 23 years old, and he has the Patriots off to a 10-6 start to the season, which is remarkable considering that program won just 6 games combined in the past 2 seasons. So Sam and Scotty will be here in a minute in an interview we taped yesterday to be perfectly transparent, but to talk about not only the Model baseball program, but also what else is going on with Model athletics. But first, we want to start off the show the same way we always do, with a recap of the week that was in Madison County sports. We had a lot of off-the-field news this week. We'll kind of start off with that before we get into the recaps of all the games. But on Tuesday, it became official, and what one official down at Madison Southern told me on Monday was the worst-kept secret in Madison County, but Steve Wright is the new head coach of the boys basketball program at Madison Southern High School. 749 and 279 in over 40 years of coaching at Walton Verona, South Laurel, Southwestern, Montgomery County. Of course, he won a state championship in 2005 down at South Laurel. A guy who brings an incredible resume to the position, one of the winningest coaches in state history. And so he'll be taking over the program. Third coach in 3 years for the Eagles with Austin Newton, Bill Bevins, and now Steve Wright. So we look forward to meeting Steve. We haven't had a press conference or anything yet, so we look forward to meeting him and hopefully having him right here on the show and talking with us. So we look forward to that. So congratulations to Coach Wright. In other news, Saturday afternoon on social media, Jalen Davis, the standout guard over at Madison Central, announced he would be going. He had committed to Liberty University. He had a long-standing offer from EKU, I think went back to his either freshman or sophomore year. But as the years went on and he just really blossomed into one of the best players in the state, he got more and more offers. Had a tremendous senior season, 22 points, 5.5 rebounds a game, shot 37% from three-point range. Of course, he was in the Indiana-Kentucky All-Star game and was named the MVP of the Kentucky team for that. So he is headed to Lynchburg, Virginia to play for the Liberty Flames. And don't worry, Colonel fans, you won't have to face Jalen Davis because Liberty, of course, is leaving the A-Sun to join Conference USA next season. So we won't see him come back here to play against the Colonels in McBrayer Arena. So congratulations to Jalen, and we'd love to have him come on too here in a little bit, here in the future, and talk to us about his decision to play for Liberty. All right, moving on to high school football. We have some news here as well. Madison Central will begin its spring practice this coming Tuesday. And last week, on Wednesday, we had a chance to go over and sit down and talk to new head coach William Blair. He gave us kind of a preview of spring practice and also updated us on his coaching staff, including the newest addition, offensive coordinator Tyler Mattingly, who, of course, by now everybody has heard. He was a couple of years ago was the offensive coordinator at South Warren when they went on to win the Class 5A state championship. So here's a little video from Coach Blair telling us what to expect out of spring practice from the Indians. Madison Central High School with head football coach William Blair, and spring practice starts April 17th. We'll run through May 5th. The Indians will get 15 days to get 10 practices in. Coach Blair, thanks for taking some time to talk to us.
Oh, it's great. Great to have you come out this spring.
All right. Well, you got pretty much all your coaching staff finalized, and that's kind of the thing we wanted to highlight today. So we want to kind of take us your first year as a head coach, assembling a new staff here. I'm sure some new faces and some not so familiar faces as well.
Yeah, we've got a lot of carryover from last year. We had a good nucleus of guys here, and with Coach Holcomb leaving, he was the offense coordinator, and that was the big one, the finding an offense coordinator, and that was went through a few people and had a lot of conversations, and a lot of guys that I'd looked towards took actually head coaching jobs elsewhere, and which is good. I mean, they're top notch. But we've hired Tyler Mattingly. Tyler's a enthusiastic coach, very knowledgeable. He cut his teeth with his dad up at Central Hardin, and then he went down to South Warren for a few years and coached down there, and he was offensive coordinator there. Won a state championship with them.
2021, yeah.
Yep.
2 years ago.
Yep. They won. They beat Frederick Douglass, and so he's bringing that style of offense here with a strong running game, being physical, and testing people vertically on a passing game. So it's pretty well rounded, and I think that suits what we do. And he's super organized in the way he facilitates practice and getting lots of people involved at a time. So he's installing the week before we go into spring break, so the kids are familiar with it. But so far, that's been really positive with the kids, and excited for Tyler. I think he's going to do a great job.
Well, you were the DC the last couple of years, so who's going to be the defensive coordinator going forward?
Well, I'm going to keep working on the defensive side, and working Coach Smoot and Coach Chapman. They've been with me for 4 years, and they know how I like to work and so forth. So they've already taken on a lot of responsibility in the last couple of years of game planning and getting things organized. So it's kind of between us three, it's been pretty solid. And then Coach Minner, he's returning on the defensive line, and he does such a good job. And he's high spirited, and he's Mr. Madison Central. So the kids love it. And Teddy Taylor's going to return. So on the defensive side, we're just going to continue doing what we've done and developing those kids. So pretty excited about that. On the offensive side, we got Coach Mattingly, and he's working with Coach Pointer, and Matt Couch is a young guy. He's finishing up last year at school at UK, but he's going the route of being a teacher and coach, and work with that. And we've got a few additions to add with some wide receiver play, but we're going to work through that out. A lot of people. This is a year of time of the year where some guys are making transitions. They can't make the commitment before they figure out what happens at the end of the year. So, but as far as that nucleus, we're pretty solid, and I'm excited about getting out there with the kids and letting them play this spring.
Yeah, next week. Kind of what? Obviously, I know coaches have a lot of different things you want to work on, but give us some of the focus areas this spring.
Well, the big thing is practicing with a purpose. And that means as soon as they walk across the white line to get on the field, doing the little things, jogging where you're going, having your helmet strapped on, ready to go. So we're going to do a little bit more things structure wise. That's our focus. But giving kids lots of reps and installing this offense. We're going to spend about 70% of the time working offense, getting those things worked in. Getting guys out there, knowing the drills and stuff. So when we come back in June doing workouts, they already know drills that they can do, and then we just hit the ground running in July. And when we come back in July, we've already scheduled some 7-on-7s within the first 5 days. So we plan on getting out there and competing and getting all of our young guys up too. So 8th graders can't participate in spring practice, but they're going to come up and do their workouts in the weight room, and they're going to come out and watch us practice, so that they go ahead and have the idea. And Coach Long and his staff and the freshman group, they're excited as well. We've got over 50 freshmen that's been coming over after school workouts, so excited about that.
Cool. How does Coach Mattingly's offense differ from Coach Holcomb's offense?
His offense is it's more of a gap scheme than a zone scheme, and if you think of instead of the wide stretching plays, it's more of coming right at you, down block, kickouts, pulling guards. If you watch UK with Liam Cohen, that's who Coach Mattingly he works a lot with, and talks to him. He was up there all spring at UK's practices and the coaches' meetings with Liam, and so a lot of things he does. We're going to go that way, setting up play action, going for home run shots, but at the same time making you stop us from getting us 4 yards and wearing you down going downfield.
Yeah, of course, you kind of start the spring with a new quarterback. Any ideas? We obviously you have some ideas of who's on the list, the short list there. Quarterbacks are going to see some time in spring.
Well, there's some really good young guys that have worked really hard. Eli Steele, he's just an athlete and gets after it. You've got Alex Craven and we call him Moose, Derek McElwee. Derek's doing a great job. He's strong, fast. Might see Derek in a couple other positions too. He's kind of a utility guy in that regard. And then KJ Wells, he's a student of the game. He'll go play quarterback and he'll jump out there and play wide receiver. And so a lot of those guys, they understand that they're multiple positions, seeing where we're at, trying to find a way to get on the field rather than just say, well, if I can't play this one position, I'm not going to play. So, which is good. As a coach, that's what you want to see. They're just trying to find a way.
Yeah. All right. Well, April 17th to May 5th, you're going to have a spring game, an exhibition or anything out to the
No,
public?
we're going to have an open practice on May 4th, with the weather. And that's the thing about, we're right now, we're just doing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday practices. Some of them are going to be 6 o'clock in the morning. Work with, because we've got track meets and things out here. But we're planning on doing an open practice. People can come and watch, and kind of like what UK did this year, have an open practice. And that's what we're going to do. As far as game, we're really just focused on getting that installation in, and not so much of getting out there and beating and banging right off the bat.
Yeah. Well, I guess the defense is going to stay the same, so not much of a change there, right?
Right. Yeah. No, the defense will still be a multiple front, using guys D-line, play linebacker, and coming at you in lots of variations and coverages and so forth. So, yeah, we've in the off season this summer or this winter, we've been working out twice a week in offensive emphasis drills and defensive emphasis drills, and so we've been working our defense. What we knew we were going to do. Mm-hmm. So we've had a lot of reps this winter, getting our defense ready.
All right, we look forward to it. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, no problem.
Well, thanks to Coach Blar. Sorry, an inside joke around here. Of course, Mike Holcomb, and that country accent of him, we always refer to him as, I go over and talk to Coach Blar. So we always joke that he'll always be Coach Blar to us. But no, I appreciate it. Him taking some time last week to talk to us, and we will kind of be over there occasionally. We got a really cool feature that we're going to do at some point during spring practice, and I don't want to give it away, but it goes back to when Coach Blair was here and a cool thing we did on our show. But stay tuned for that. I don't want to give anything away because you don't really want to give something away. That's journalism 101 right there, folks. You don't tease things too much, so there you go. But appreciate him taking some time to talk to us. So. All right, other high school football news on Friday morning down at Berea Community. Senior Yamil Cruz signed his national letter of intent with Defiance College, which is up in northwestern Ohio. Yamil, obviously a great athlete. If anybody saw Berea Community play football the last 4 or 5 years, the kind of athletic ability he has. 1,100 yards rushing last season, 21 touchdowns in a variety of modes, not just running the ball, catching the ball, on special teams, defense as well. But he's just a great athlete, and he'll get a chance to go play in college. And we were there on Friday, and here's some sights and sounds from Yamil Cruz's signing day.
Very excited for Cruz, the student athlete we've come to know as Cruz. I don't call him anything else. I'm really excited for him, his family, and the opportunity he has going forward with this opportunity at Defiance College in Ohio. It's a great opportunity for him as a student and as an athlete. And one thing about Cruz is I know he's going to work hard, and looking forward to great things for him in college. He's a tremendous athlete that's been with us now for several years at a football program. I know he's kind of focused on football, but this is a young man. From having him in class and seeing him on the football field, he could probably take on any sport we have and do great things here. But he's focused on football, and that's where his accomplishment is and his future is, and we're very proud of him. And congratulations from all of us, Cruz.
When we first began this journey, I mentioned something about playing in college and how did that go. So in the beginning, it was kind of new that the thought that he could go play college ball. So the academic portion was a big part of what we had to correct and change if he really wanted to reach his goals. So, we had many of the talks, and it wasn't always the nicest or good talks, but he continued to change his ways, and work hard in the classroom, which was the most important for him to be able to reach his goal. And so up here today, maybe the same with Defiance College. So for you younger guys and girls, if you can just continue to work hard and believe in yourself and do those little things, then great things can happen. But the biggest thing is he took the classroom serious, and we talk about that every day. I know once a week I was talking about making sure he was in class, because he was somewhere he wasn't supposed to be, mostly in here. And I would have to get on and come down and find him, hey, why we're not in class, why we're not working on his grades. So he finally took it to heart, and today this is up here and reached his dream of going playing college ball. So congratulations, I'm proud of you. This is just the beginning. Make sure you take that same work ethic to college once you leave here.
Cruz, I see how hard he works when he sets his mind to something. And my coach says it's those little things that you have to really focus on to get to this point. All right, it's not an easy route all the time. All right, but somebody like I see like Cruz, some of the other guys have been up here with, I can see that in you. When you set your mind to it, great things can happen. I'm incredibly proud of you. See, and I hope the best for you in the future. And congratulations.
Well, appreciate the folks at Berea Community for inviting us down. Yamel didn't want to speak, so you looked at the video there and you kind of wondered why we didn't have any video of Yamel speaking. Kind of a soft-spoken young man, didn't want to say anything. But that's all right. We appreciate him being there, and good luck to him going forward. So, well, that's kind of the off-the-field stuff. Now to the on-the-field stuff, and we'll start off with high school baseball. And the Madison Central baseball team just keeps rolling along. 4 more wins this past week to push their winning streak to 9 straight games. They are 15-2 on the season. Of course, technically 15-2. They're actually 16-1, but they did have to forfeit a game they played right before spring break because of a pitching count miscalculation. But regardless, 15-2, 16-1, whatever. They're playing really good baseball. So on Wednesday, an 18-8 win at home over Bryan Station in a very odd game where they were down 8-0 and then scored 18 unanswered runs. And then over the weekend, the Indians were at the Harrison Memorial Tournament in Cynthiana. On Friday night, a 12-1 win over Rockcastle County. On Saturday, a 16-0 win over Breathitt County. And then on Saturday afternoon, a 14-7 win over Harrison County. In the win over Rockcastle County, it was Keith Stewart with a home run. On the win over Breathitt County, it was Parker Mullins with a home run and 5 RBIs. And in the win over Harrison County, Bradley Pointer 3 for 4 with 3 doubles, 4 RBIs. Big week coming up for the Indians with some really tough games starting off Monday at St. X, who's 15-4, one of the best teams in the state. So that'll be a big test for the Indians up in Louisville. Model baseball team, who we'll hear a lot more about here in just a minute from Coach Sutton. 4 games this past week, 27-2 win at Lynn Camp on Monday, an 11-7 loss Thursday at Nicholas County, a 12-2 loss at home on Friday to Frankfort. And then on Saturday, they had a doubleheader at home, a 13-3 win over Somerset Christian, followed by a 12-6 loss at home to Frankfort Christian. So we'll talk a lot more about the Patriots here in a little bit. They are now 10-6 on the season, and they'll be back in action Wednesday at home against Atherton. Madison's Southern baseball team back from its spring break trip to Tennessee. And they had 3 games this past week. Tuesday, a 12-5 win at home over North Laurel. Friday, a 7-2 loss at home to Pulaski County, and on Saturday, a 9-6 loss at Whitley County. In the win over North Laurel, it was Braden Hudson with a home run, and in the loss to Pulaski County, it was Zach Morgerson with a home run. Eagles back in action Monday at Franklin County. Berea Community playing some pretty good baseball right now as well. 4 games this past week as they return from spring break. On Tuesday, a 15-0 loss at Frankfort. Wednesday, a 4-3 win at home over Paris. Friday, a 14-2 loss at home to Casey County. And then on Saturday, a 10-0 win at home over Lee County. Against Lee County, Nathan Profit 3 for 3 with a double, and Billy Strife 2 for 3 with 4 RBIs. 3-7 on the season for the Pirates, and they will be back in action Monday at home against Bath County. And then on Friday night, they'll be here in Richmond for a 44th District matchup with Model Lab School. High school softball, Madison Central, a busy week for them. 4 games in 4 days in their first action since they returned from Florida from their spring break trip. On Tuesday, an 8-1 win at Mercer County. On Wednesday, a 9-2 win at home over Scott County. Thursday, an 11-1 win at Rockcastle County. And then Friday night, a 4-3 loss at Lafayette. That was the matchup of 2 of the best teams in the 11th region. And a heartbreaking ending there in that game for the Lady Indians because they carried a 3-1 lead into the bottom of the 7th. But the Lady Generals scored 3 times in their final at-bat, and including a walk-off 2-run homer to claim the victory. But 11-3 on the season now for Madison Central. Some of the highlights of the rest of the week. The win over Rockcastle County, it was Cassidy Hack and Kirsten Osborne with a home run each in that victory. And Madison Central has 10 home runs on the season by 7 different players. Hack leads the way with 3 home runs herself this season. So Central's back in action Monday at another 11th region rival, Great Crossing. Madison Southern softball team, a very busy week. 5 games this past week. On Monday, a 13-1 loss at home to Bryan Station. On Tuesday, a 3-1 win at George Rogers Clark, which snapped a 6-game losing streak. On Thursday night, a hard-fought 9-8 loss at home to North Laurel. And then on Saturday, they were at the Henry Clay Triangle up in Lexington, picked up an 11-2 win over Mercer County, and suffered a 7-0 loss to Henry Clay. In the win over Mercer County, 3 Lady Eagles had 3 hits. Alexis Keener 3 for 3 with 3 runs scored. Taylor Reeves 3 for 4 with 2 doubles and 2 RBIs. And Chloe Risen 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs. Southern back in action Tuesday at home against Paul Lawrence Dunbar. Model Lab softball, 2 games this past week, both at home. Came up on the short end of both of those. Wednesday 16-2 to Nicholas County, and then on Thursday 13-8 to Owsley County. 2-7 on the season for the Lady Patriots, back in action Tuesday versus Shelby County at home. Berea Community also had 2 games this past week, also both at home. They also came up on the short end of both of those as well. Thursday, 18-1 loss to Garrett County, and then on Friday, a 12-7 loss to Lincoln County. In the loss to Lincoln County, Paige Johnson was 2 for 2 with 2 RBIs, and Taylor Johnson had 3 RBIs. Model 0-8 on the season, but they're back. That's Berea 0-8 on the season, and they're back in action Monday at home against Bergen. High school track and field, the second all-comers meet of the season over at Madison Central took place on Tuesday. Madison County athletes won 8 events and had 37 top 3 finishes. Madison Central took the boys title. Lexington Catholic took the girls team title, with Madison Central finishing second. Some of the highlights here: Madison Central's Wyatt Stewart setting a new venue record over at Madison Central, going over 17 feet in the pole vault. Other winners, including the Madison Southern Sprinters, did very well. Kate Sullivan won the 200 meters, Braden Hall won the 400 meters, and Jay Sean Etheridge won the 100 meters, and models Ty Balzer won the 3,200 meters. Full results from all that is on our website, richmondregister.com. There's too many of those to mention in here because Randy would be mad at me if this show was an hour and a half long. So that's a lot. So go to richmondregister.com. We have all the results of all of our local kids. And the next all-comers meet at Madison Central will be Tuesday, April the 25th. High school tennis was a good week for Madison Central, Madison Southern, and Model. All those teams won all their matches this past week. We'll start with Madison Southern. Monday, they swept Garrett County on the road. Tuesday, they beat Somerset at Berea College. And then on Thursday, they beat East Jessamine at Berea College. And Eagles will be back in action Monday at Lafayette. Model, a couple of matches, a couple of wins last week. They topped Western Hills in Frankfort on Tuesday. And then on Thursday here in Richmond, beat Montgomery County. They're back in action Tuesday at home against Bryan Station. And Madison Central, a pair of matches last week and a pair of wins. Tuesday topped Scott County at home. Thursday beat Frankfort at home. And they'll be back in action Tuesday at Frederick Douglass. And like the track, all of these results are at richmondregister.com. We try our best to get the results of every one of these matches up every night that they play. And the coaches have been great, Coach Prince, and all kinds of folks have been great about getting stuff in. So don't have time here to go into every detail about every match, but if you want to find out all the results of all the matches, richmondregister.com. And that's about it, folks. Like I said, hang around. We're going to have Coach Sutton, and Coach Sutton, as they call him. But we're going to have Scotty and Sam here in just a minute to tell you about Model baseball and about some other stuff going over at Model. So stay tuned.
Miller's Tire and Auto Care. Need to hire experienced technicians, oil change, tire technician, tow truck drivers, exceptional benefits and pay. Drop your resume off at Miller's Tire on the Big Hill Avenue location. The Richmond Register Sports Show is brought to you by MetroNet, super fast internet, simply a better connection. Total Comfort, heating and air conditioning. Let Total Comfort keep you cool or warm this winter. Call for service or for a free replacement quote. Wynn's Auto Detailing Service. Platinum Roofing, Solar and Green Solutions. Voted Richmond's best roofer 7 years in a row. And by kymedia.net, digital media solutions on your terms.
All right, well, welcome back, and I think for the first time in show history, we are joined by a father-son combo here, but Scotty Sutton, Model Athletic Director and girls basketball coach, and his son, Sam Sutton, the new baseball coach at Model. Appreciate you guys coming in. We filmed this on Saturday right after a doubleheader, so we literally all just came just from the field after this, so we probably all stink and everything, but that's okay. Appreciate you guys being here, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having us.
And it's been a lot of fun, man. You take over a program that won 2 games last year. With you guys split a doubleheader today, so you got 10 wins already this year, which is an unbelievable improvement. And but I'm sure it's been a lot of fun. I'm sure it's been a lot of work too.
Yeah, definitely. Taking over, it's just you got to reset a mindset. They were so used to losing and not playing competitive baseball that it's almost like you got to reteach the entire game, and just getting them to believe in themselves and believe that they can win. So it's been a fun challenge, but I'm glad that they're reaping their rewards off of it.
Yeah. I mean, what was the numbers you threw out to me earlier? The past 2 years they were 6 and what was it?
Yeah, 6 and 46.
6 and 46 the last 2 years, and 30-something losses by in 5 innings or less. So it's a remarkable turnaround. What's happened here?
Yeah, to Sam's credit, he's come in and done well. But like I've heard him say before, you got to give the players credit that they bought in and it's a good senior group and they wanted to win. And so I'm proud of the way that not only he's come in, but the way that they have bought into that, and they've got some wins to show for it.
Yeah, I mean, you're just 23, right? Do you think the kids kind of identify with you a little better than maybe an older guy?
I think that I definitely am good with them. I think they know that they can talk to me, not just about baseball but life. So I think they buy in with what I have to say, and I keep it real. I know I was just in their spot, not too long ago. So I know how it is, and I tell them, the truth, and I think they can understand that. And I'm not out of touch. Like I said, I was just there. I'm 23. I'm just out of college. So you're still hard on them too.
Right? You don't go easy on them.
No, they identify with me. I told them first things first. You have to have respect before you do anything. So I think I established that respect with them, that you can yell at them, where they don't just collapse or whatever. Like Eli Estes, he's a senior. I pretty much yell at him every day. But he makes sure to stay after practice, and we walk to the car together. because we have that relationship that he knows I can get on him because I want him to be a better player. But he also knows it's only because I want him to be a better player. It's not personal. And I think they've all kind of known that and bought into that, and that's why I can get on to them, but also maintain that relationship to where they don't just break down.
Yeah. So for folks who don't know a little bit about your background, you were a heck of a player at Scott County. It was with Walter State. Is that where you ended up going? One of the top community college, junior college programs in the country. Had some arm problems, which cut your career short.
Yep.
You've been an assistant coach at Scott County the last couple of years, and you've got to be one of the youngest head coaches in the state, I would think.
You would think so. Definitely.
There can't be too many much younger than him, right?
No.
What was the interview project? Did you have to actually interview him when he came in?
Yeah, actually, it's funny you say that. When I went to the superintendent, I just said, what are the nepotism laws? And he just said, common sense. And I said, well, Sam might be interested. He's played baseball. He's coached baseball. Like I said, been an assistant coach. And he said, well, you need to do like you always do. You got to get a committee together, but you can't be on it. And what's interesting about that is when after the committee interviewed him, without my knowledge, they went to the superintendent before they even told me and said, this is who we want. And then when he signed off on it, then they came to me and said, Sam's who we want. We've already told Mr. Williamson. And I said, okay, great. So we made the phone call and went from there.
It keeps you out of it.
That's right.
The best
Kept me
thing
out
in the
of
world.
it. Yeah. So, it was good. And Mom immediately said, don't do that. Y'all aren't going to get along. But, no, it's been great having him around.
Yeah. Well, to go back to your playing career a little bit, you hurt your shoulder in college.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about that, and you tried to come back from it and hurt it again, I guess, right?
My senior year of high school, actually, I partially tore my labrum in football. Did a bunch of rehab throughout the winter. It was basically you could have surgery now, but you'll miss your entire senior year, or you can try to rehab it, just push through. Obviously, I wanted to play my senior year. We had a really good team. I think we were preseason #1 in the state. So I pushed through. I played my entire senior year, but while doing that, I completely tore my labrum in half. So when I got to Walter State, I played the fall, believe it or not, and then had surgery over the winter break. Rehabbed everything. I redshirted. I came back that next year and was feeling good, and I was coming back, and we were playing, and that was the COVID year. And literally the day before COVID, I was pitching in a game, and I just heard a loud pop, and I tore it again, and I went back to the doctor. They basically said, you got to hang it up. You got to medically retire, or you'll pretty much never be able to use your left arm again. So I knew my days were over then, and so I knew I always either wanted to play baseball or coach baseball. So I've grown up in a dugout my entire life, and so when I came back home, Coach Willard, who I played high school baseball for at Scott County, asked me to be the pitching coach, and I did that for 2 years. And I knew I always wanted to be a head coach, and I needed to start somewhere. So model opened up, and it just happened that it was a good circumstance, and here I am.
Yeah, of course, you coached for many, many years. That's funny. You were telling me earlier at the game. I didn't realize this, but you quit coaching because of him, because you were coaching at Sayre. He was at Scott County, you did not want to coach against him, so you walked away from coaching the baseball team at Sayre.
Yeah, and it was a combination of, I did it his 8th grade year. We played one game against him, and I coached against him. And the next day I went in and asked the superintendent, I said, I don't know if I can do this, but really more than anything, I just wanted to watch him play. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't just the 2 games I was going to have to coach against him, but it was all the games that I was going to miss because I was coaching. Yeah. And I think Sam was the only guy that was mad at me. Everybody else said, this is what you got to do. And he's like, don't do it. You've got the best team you've ever had. I want you to coach them. And but that dad's love, you just and I've people of all time said, are you glad? And I'm like, absolutely. To be able to pull up that chair and down the left field line and watch him play for 4 years was something I could never get back if I hadn't have done that. Mm-hmm. And now I have all those memories, and so no, it was a no-brainer for me. I was thrilled to be able to do it.
Yeah, I know you're making new memories watching him coach.
Yeah.
You told me today he said he's me 25 years ago.
It couldn't be any more me, and that's the thing. That's he said he grew up in a dugout. I'm sure everybody's thinking when he's talking about playing, but a lot of that too was watching me coach and watching me throw my hat on that. And that's where I'm older now. I'm like, all right, you don't have to do that. Well, you did. I'm like, I know, but just continue to coach your team. But he's passionate about it, just like I was.
Yeah.
To his point, I'd watched him build Sayre to what they are now. When he took over Sayre, they were kind of how Model was when I took over. And over a 20-year period, I watched that growing up. And they're playing little small single A teams and hoping to win. To by the end of his career, he's beating Scott County and Henry Clay and Bryan Station, and I really was proud of that, especially growing up in Scott County. You go to school, that's in our district, and so I was proud of him. But I bled Scott County. That was the only place I was ever going to go. I loved it, and he knew that. But like he said, the best team he was ever going to have in the 20 years he had was when I was going to be a freshman, and so I didn't want him to give that up. Because I wanted everyone to know, he did that. He's won those games. But, things happen, and he's glad that he watched me, and so am I. But I wish he had got more of the reward for Sayre's past few years of success.
Yeah, and what they are today, they're pretty
right.
good. That's a lot of the foundation
right.
started by that guy over there.
I mean, the whole place they play at's because of that man. When he took over, they played at a park. So I'm very proud of that.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit more about this team. You only have 3 seniors on this team. Those 3 kids, we feel like we've been watching them for 10 years over there.
Yeah.
But it's still a fairly young team. You got some middle schoolers out there, young kids pitching. But I can start off with the 3 seniors there, Jackson, Eli, and Sean.
Right. 3 seniors. They all start pretty much every day. Jackson Brown and Eli Estes, they rotate between playing first base and DHing, and Sean Singleton, he's started in left field every game this year. Like I mentioned, when I came in, they've just had years of just losing, and that's very hard to get out of. And they were honest with me about it, Coach, I remember I came in, I'm just like, well, how about this, and this, just simple things about baseball, and they're just like, well, we don't really know that. We didn't do that kind of stuff. So before I did anything, I made sure I set them down in an office and we talked. And if we're ever going to change this program, it begins with you guys. You guys might not win a district tournament or win a region or whatever. But in 5 years, when we are winning these games, it's going to be because of you guys. You're going to set that foundation. So when these younger guys like Garrett Holloway and those guys that are in 8th grade, when they're older and they are winning these games, it's because of you. And I'm very proud of the way they've bought in, and they've done that. There's still times where they go back to their old ways, because that's just they're 18 years old and it's hard to get out of a habit in 1 year. I tell them all the time, I wish I had got you guys when you were freshmen, but they do everything I ask. They're great. They're great kids. They're great leaders. And I'm just very proud of them, and they're a huge part of what we're doing right now.
Yeah, you got a lot of good hitters in that lineup, starting at the top with Beckett Parker Noblin.
Yep. Yeah, he's been great for us. He's only a sophomore. He comes from a brilliant family. Everyone in his family pretty much graduated from Yale.
They're smarter than us, though.
Right. I think his parents are professors, and he's just an amazing kid. Plays point guard on the basketball team, plays shortstop for us. I don't know what it is after today, but going in today, I think he's hitting about 650 on the year, which I don't care what level of baseball you play at, that's pretty incredible. And again, just an amazing kid. He does everything I ask, and he'll be a very good player as he gets older.
Yeah. Walk us through the rest of that lineup there and kind of who your regular players are.
Kellen Burchett, he's in 8th grade. He's been catching pretty much all year. Me and my assistant coach talk about it all the time. I get on him 24/7, but then I remember he's in 8th grade. What were you doing in 8th grade? Not starting varsity baseball, probably. So he's been doing a great job, and he listens, and when he matures and I mean, heck, half our lineup hasn't even hit puberty, I feel like, which is insane to say, but it's true. Like Garrett Holloway, he hits in the 2-hole for us, plays all around the infield and pitches a lot. He's also in 8th grade, you know, and when he gets older, he'll be a heck of a baseball player. He already is. So that's 2 guys right there. Let's see, we got Mark Thomas Ellis. He's only a sophomore, I believe. He just does all the dirty work for us. You know, he plays that right field. He lays down a bunt anytime I ask him to. He pitch runs when he needs to, when he's not playing. And he's just the hustle guy, you know. I love him to death.
Had 2 freshman pitchers too that
Yes.
hadn't been here in
Hadn't
a week
been there,
because of the band
Yep.
trip to Disney. So
Yeah,
Gorbett.
Matthew Gorbett and Aaron Short. Aaron Short's pretty much started at 3rd base for us all year. He's also a freshman, and he's pretty much been our ace. We really don't have an ace right now, but he's kind of been that guy. Like he said, he's been gone all week on a band trip, which has really hurt us. But, you know, it is what it is. So he's been doing a great job, and that's another guy that's just really done what I asked him to do. You know, I set him down for the year and said, you know, this is what we have to do to be successful. You know, I don't know what you've come from the past, but this is what we need to do. And he, you know, yes sir, and he bought into it, and he's been great for us. Matthew Gorbett, you know, we were talking before the year. You know, you can't really tell in practice sometimes with guys. You know, sometimes guys are just gamers, and you know, me and Matthew had to sit down. It was kind of like, you know, you don't really have a role right now. Just continue to work. You might do this, that, or whatever. And we threw him out there in a game to pitch, and he did an amazing job. He finished the game for us for a win, and I think he leads the team in innings pitched now. So that's a guy taking advantage of his opportunity and making the most of it. So he's been doing a great job for us. Cy Beulah, he's also real young. I don't even think he weighs 100 pounds. I joke with him all the time. But he'll put his body in front of that ball at all times, plays a great second base for us. And then he'll come in relief a lot of the time, just, you know, pump strikes in there.
and Connor Sayre.
Connor Sayre, he's a junior. He bats in the, 4 or 5 hole, plays center field every day. Mm-hmm. So that's another great kid. He'll literally do anything you ask him to do. He's probably the most hustle guy we got. Every game he's going to have his jersey dirty, and I really appreciate that because I used to be that way. And I try to preach so much about passion and attitude and effort, and he definitely has that. And even though he's not a senior, he's probably the best leader that we have, I would say. I know we probably got a few other guys that have stepped up in certain situations, but those are probably the main guys that we've really gone with this year.
And it feels like we've been watching Jackson Brown pitch for 6, 7, 8 years.
He's been doing it. And it's funny you say that, because the amazing thing about this year, had you told me at the beginning of the year that we were going to be 10-6, I would say, well, Jackson would have 4 of those wins easy. Yeah. And he's only had 2 or 3 appearances because he had off-season surgery, had to build that back up. So
we didn't win those games either. So that's even the crazier part.
That's the crazier part. He's getting back, and you look at that core of the staff, with Gorbett and Short and Holloway. That's an 8th grader and 2 freshmen that really have been leading the way on the mound. So it's good to build on things like that.
I'm sure you don't want to put him in the dugout. He's like an assistant coach anyway.
I know.
He has a couple of times. He's got to tell me. One time, the assistant couldn't be there, and he asked me to go, and so that was fun. We got a picture together, but
we both
I hear him up the third baseline. He stands up the third baseline the whole game, and sometimes I'm standing up there with you, but sometimes you're up there by yourself.
Yeah.
And he's telling the kids, move over that way, do that.
Yeah, and that's because I was able to work with them some in the preseason, throw BP or whatever. Mm-hmm. So it's not like they're familiar with me to get out there with them and practice some and be able to coach a little bit. So I was able to do. Of course, basketball went into that, and but. Yeah, it's been fun to be able to get out there on the field sometimes, especially on a day like today when it's warm. When it's cold, I just, I may stay in the car and watch Game Changer.
Well, who is actually officially helping you out as an assistant?
Alex Weldon, he's done a great job, and Cuse, he kind of helps out sometimes. He also helped out in basketball. But Coach Weldon, he's also the EKU club baseball coach. It kind of just, for being real honest, I had a guy set up to be my assistant, and it ended up falling through. And then I had another guy, and it just, right before the season, something happened. He couldn't do it. And I really didn't have anybody, and we had practice the next day, and I didn't know. And he gave him a call because, whatever. And he's like, yeah, I'm down. And it's worked out perfect because he's been great for us, and he's been a great assistant. Especially when you don't know the guy, he just shows up to your practice. That could have gone a thousand different ways. But he's done a great job, and he's done everything I asked, and he never oversteps, but he coaches the kids great. So he's been great for us. And then, like I said, I'll call him up every now and then. I kind of have to keep him away sometimes. If we're being real honest, he would have been the most perfect assistant I could have had. No doubt about it. There's not a guy I know that knows baseball more, that I would trust more coaching. It was just more personally for me. I wanted to do it on my own, selfishly. I didn't want people to look at it and say, well, his dad's doing it. His dad's doing this, whatever. Same with the job. I didn't want people to, well, he got it because of his dad, and there's always going to be people like that. But that's just how the world is. But when you show results and you're doing the right things, and the kids are getting better, and you're winning games, and you hear it from people that really know the game of baseball, that you're doing a great job, that's what matters to me. But that's the only reason why he's not in the dugout, is because I just selfishly wanted to be able to do it on my own and not say that he was doing it.
Well, 10 wins on the season, but I have to feel both of you are probably, I'm gonna guess on this, but I bet you both agree, the April 3rd win over Trimble County had to be extra special for both of you. Not only you guys come back and walk it off, you did it at Scott County High School, because you guys just over spring break at Trimble County model, you guys said, well, we'll play somewhere in the middle. You called up your folks at Scott County, and you played, so you got to play on your old field, and you guys walked it off and won it. So that had to be pretty special for everybody.
Yeah, Sutton Field, so that's what made it even more special. It's named after my dad, so to be able to play there was really cool. And just like you said, it couldn't have been better walk-off fashion. We got that on video, scoring that game-winning run. That was really neat, but it was great.
Yeah, it was like you said, it's Charlie Sutton Field. It's after my grandfather. He played there. I played there. It's very special to us. There, around the backstop, there's bricks, and there's some names engraved in it and stuff. And on one brick, Scotty Sutton, class of '86, and Sam Sutton, class of '18, just in the same brick. And I walked the guys around, and I showed them that, and I kept walking them. I showed them a few of the banners on the back of the dugout that I was fortunate enough to be a part of when I was in high school, and I pointed out the dugout. That was my grandfather, and right across the road is Scott County Middle School. I was like, right there, that's where my mother's been the principal for 20 years, so I'm just very ingrained in Scott County culture, and it was very special to play there, obviously. And then, like you said, we get down 5-0 in the first inning, and they didn't even hit a ball out of the infield. It was quite incredible. It was almost, you had to be there to believe it. But we came back and won on a walk-off base hit, and you couldn't have asked for a better night.
All right. Well, I don't know how much you can say yet, but I mean, there's a lot of things coming up at Model. Obviously, there's going to be a new school at some point, a new gymnasium, maybe new athletic fields, maybe at some point. What can you update the folks on?
Well, I can't say much.
I mean, officially,
I can't say anything officially, but I can tell you that an athletic facility, is in the works, and Mr. Williamson, it brings me in quite a bit to talk about that. What can we do? And he knows it's important, and so he's going to do everything he can to get it done. And it's just going to take time. But just like my days at Sayre, I coached 10 years where we played at Loudon Park, and you didn't know if a softball. I mean, we could only play on certain nights there because of a softball league.
Adult men's
softball, and but then finally, we were able to get that space and then build the facility, and then it's just brick by brick. you get windscreens maybe one year, which doesn't sound like much, but you might get them. And then the next year you've got the bullpens that are built. And then the next year we got a new scoreboard, $20,000 scoreboard. So it took time. But if anybody was to go there now, they would say, wow, what a facility. Well, that started in 2005, and now it's 2023, and it is what it is. So we got to get that going. We will, and then it will get be nice, and it'll get even nicer as the years go by. People just got to step up, and so I'm excited about that. Real excited. Everybody knows about the school, and I'm excited about that too. For certain reasons, but yeah, definitely an athletic facility for everything. Soccer, baseball, softball. So we're excited about.
And you guys are going to keep the old gym and have 2 gyms, right?
That's right. Yeah, which is huge. I mean, any athletic director will tell you you could have 5 gyms and you'd never have a time where it wasn't being used, and especially when you're a K through 12, you've got middle school basketball, archery, volleyball, all those things are trying to use the gym. And we're fortunate that we're able to use Weaver some. But yes, we are going to be able to keep that, and that's going to be great for a number of reasons. But, not only that, but for being able to teach PE, you can have elementary in one area and the middle school in another. That's going to be great. But we're excited about it.
And you want to have air conditioning too, hopefully.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say that. But,
hey, it's an older facility. It is what it is,
But
hey, it's got a lot of character, though.
It does. It does. But yeah, we're extremely excited about that, and we've been heavily involved in helping with the architects and the things that we want. Mr. Williamson even had a meeting with all the coaches and said, let me talk to you about this school, and what is it that I can help you with. And a lot of the coaches said, we'd love to have this and that, and then we got with the architects, is this feasible, can we do this? And so he's been terrific on that.
All right, well, it's Wednesday, Atherton, is that the next one?
I believe so.
Yeah, Wednesday at home
Yep.
against Atherton.
Yeah, over at the intramural fields, lovingly called the Barb. In case nobody knows what that means, that's after former athletic director Barb Schaefer. Years ago, when I first came here, they played baseball right out there.
Right there in the corner.
The corner of Lancaster Avenue. There were a lot of foul balls that went right back over the screen into the middle of the intersection over there.
I don't know how they, but yeah, I coached several games on that field. Yeah, I mean, if you hit a long ball, there was no fence. If it goes into the parking lot, it's a home run.
You just keep running.
Yeah, so.
All right, well, congratulations on your success so far, 10-6. Like I said, it's quite remarkable coming off a 2-win season and a 4-win season the year before that. So congratulations, and thank you so much for coming in here.
Yeah,
I know
of course.
they lost the second game today, and he's taking it very hard, as most coaches do. So I appreciate you taking the time. And
Appreciate having us.
Scott.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
All right, well, that'll wrap up this week's edition of the Richmond Register Sports Show. We'll be back next Sunday night with a brand new episode. And for the best coverage of sports in Madison County, on Twitter, Richmond R Sports, and on Facebook, it's Register Sports. And, of course, our website is richmondregister.com. We'll see you next week.
Miller's Tire and Auto Care need to hire experienced technicians, oil change, tire technician, tow truck drivers, exceptional benefits and pay. Drop your resume off at Miller's Tire on the Big Hill Avenue location. The Richmond Register Sports Show is brought to you by MetroNet, superfast internet, simply a better connection. Total Comfort, heating and air conditioning. Let Total Comfort keep you cool or warm this winter. Call for service or for a free replacement quote. Wynn's Auto Detailing Service. Platinum Roofing, Solar and Green Solutions. Voted Richmond's best roofer 7 years in a row. And by kymedia.net, digital media solutions on your terms. Thanks for watching the Richmond Register Sports Show. For more information about all things sports in Madison County, log on to richmondregister.com or on Twitter. And like us, Register Sports on Facebook. Get the Richmond Register directly to your mailbox or get the app online and visit richmondregister.com.